Mike's Carburetor Parts here. I'm doing a video on rebuilding the Holley 2-barrel 2245 carburetor. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take it apart, and then we're going to soak it. We'll soak it in simple green for 2 hours. And some of these I've had off, so that's why the nuts came off so easy. I'm going to sit here and fight it. Yeah, we'll get that shortly. Okay. Got everything off we need. So now we're going to take all the screws out of the top. And don't forget there's a screw kind of hidden right here in the middle. A longer screw. It's longer than the others. The most important thing about rebuilding these is getting it clean. Like I say, I soak it in simple green for a couple hours. This has an aluminum throttle body, so you don't want to leave it in there too long because the simple green will discolor the aluminum. I'm not sure how much damage it'll do to it, but it won't look good. Okay, I took this off here. This goes to the fast idle. Alright, top comes off just like so. Before we take the top apart, I'll go ahead and take the throttle body apart. And yes, I'm missing a screw right here. I got wrong size screw in one of the holes, so anyway, for illustration purposes, no big deal. This will never run on a car. Okay. Now that's as far as I take this. Now if you want to take this, if the throttle valves are really cruddy, then by all means take it apart. Otherwise, this is as far as you should go. When you take these apart, these are mushroomed on the end, they're staked, so grind these down with a Dremel tool flush before you try to take these screws out. Take the idle mixture screws out so that the holes get clean. And when you're done soaking this, you want to wash it off with preferably hot water. Get all the chemicals off of it. Blow out every passageway with air. There we go. Put that over there. And we got power valve to get out. Get a different screwdriver for that. Okay. Alright, this is main jets. Now watch your jets, because on some of these they're different sized. Getting where I can't see this stuff even with my glasses. Okay, so find the numbers that are stamped on the side, and now this particular one I can see that they're both the same size. So sometimes there's one or two sizes difference in each side. That's got a 2, 9 on the end, I believe. Okay. Yeah, these are the same size, so it doesn't matter. Just be careful you don't get them switched. I usually put them in different baggies and mark it. Okay. Power valve. Don't bend the stem. Good grief. Okay. Okay, we're getting the power valve out. There's no gasket on this one, and be sure you don't lose a spring in there. This is a spring that holds it up, holds up this. If it's not in there, it's not going to work. So if you're having trouble getting power, that might be a thing to look for, and make sure the spring is there. Alright, so this one is taken apart as far as I want to take it. Oh, the check weight for the main discharge, which goes in this hole right here. Okay, and we'll take the top apart. This little shield here keeps the gas from splashing around when it comes through the needle and seat. Yours happens to be missing. I wouldn't sweat it too much. It'd be nice if it was there, but it will run without it. Okay, we'll take the float out. Needle. And then the seat. Now this particular one has a metal gasket for it, which works, but these do tend to leak if they're not seated well. So when you go put it back in, tighten it a couple times, loosen, tighten to help seat it in there. We're going to take the auxiliary pump out. It's got the little retainer on the top. It goes like so. Okay. And let's see. There's no filter inside here, so we don't have to worry about that so much. Let's take this off. Now, this is your power piston, and if you want to get it clean, these don't come out, by the way. There you go. Just keep flicking it like I was doing with my finger, and these are staked down, and if you just keep flicking it, it'll break the staking on it. Now there again, it's got a little spring that goes in it. Okay, and you want this real nice and clean because you want it to be able to go move up and down without any resistance. Huh. Oh, that's a gasket for the staking. Alright. I didn't think it had a gasket. Alright, and your spring. Okay, and that's it. So, like I say, dump it all in. Let's see, there's no real rubber parts to worry about. We're going to replace this, so you can throw it in there. Doesn't matter. Throw it in the simple grain. Everything else you can throw in there, and it shouldn't hurt it. I wouldn't bother doing it with a float. It's a nitro-fill, and we'll get it clean. We'll get it all washed up, and we'll come back and we'll put it back together. Okay, let's put this Holley 2-barrel back together. First we're going to put the power jet back in. Let's see, we need a spring. It was this spring here, like so. It goes in there. Good. Oops. Get back in there. Hang on to that. Okay, so this is one of the few power jets that don't use a gasket. Almost every carburetor does. This one does not need a gasket, in case you're wondering why there's none on it. Put the main jets in. Remember what I said about when we took this apart, that on some of these 2-barrel Holleys, the jets are different size on each side of the carburetor. So be sure you check the numbers on it. If you can't see the numbers, use a number drill to measure the hole. Okay, for some reason that jet does not want to go in straight. Okay, there we go. Okay. So when you clean this, after you clean this, you blew air through it. Pay special attention to these two holes here. These are your idle holes that the gas feeds through here for your idle mixture, and they're very small holes, and you need to blow through and make sure that they go all the way through to the main jet. That's where it's going to get its gas. If not, you're going to have trouble with your idle. Alright, so okay, let's put the top together now. The first thing you want to do is put the power piston in. You can't put the gasket on or anything before that is done. Yeah, okay. Make sure I said that right. Alright, spring goes in over the little stud that's in there, like so. This has a little metal washer on it, and see, it's kind of bent towards that way, so that's the way I want to put it in there. And you have to stake this on now. On each, just kind of fits in the little groove there, that washer does. So you get that on there. and you stake each side. Now you need to use a good chisel. Where I'm at right now, I just don't have one, so I've got to beat on my poor screwdriver. Alright, so there it is. So you seen when I took it apart, you just kind of flick, and it breaks the stake. So don't stake it too much. Okay, so now let's do the gasket. Okay, and then the accelerator pump. Put the cup on, like so. Pretty simple. And then got to have a spring on it. And this has a retainer. You want to be sure and have it on there. If you forget the retainer, it's going to be a little too loose. Put it in the slot here. Okay, I'm going to hold it in there. Okay, and then we got this shaft, the rod that has to go through it. Okay, just like so. Alright. Now we will put the float system together. First the needle and seat. Now this has a little metal washer on the seat. Be sure you don't forget the washer. The metal ones are a little harder to get to seal sometimes, so just tighten it down, loosen it, tighten it down, loosen it. Do that about 3 times just to make sure it's seated good. I suggest testing it when you're all done. Make sure it doesn't leak. I have a video about pressure testing it. You just put 5 pounds of pressure on this end and a little soapy water there and see if you get any bubbles. Okay. The needle. And then we'll put the float in. The float drop is adjusted by this little tab here. The float level is just by this tab. Now I have a video on just nothing but adjusting this float. If you want to refer to it, I'll show you how to do it and get it on there. I'm doing this outside, so you'll hear a helicopter over there. Alright, there we go. So float level is with the top upside down like it is here, and you measure from the float stop right here up to the top of the float, or when it's inverted like that, that would be the bottom, and measure that distance. It's different for each vehicle, so use your instruction sheet to see what the measurement should be. The float drop is you turn it right side up like that, and you want the bottom edge of the float parallel with the edge of the top of the bowl. Okay, I think it's off a little bit. It doesn't have to be exact. Refer to my float video for that. And then we have this little shield goes on right here. That simply keeps the gas from that coming through the needle to splash about places you don't want it to. There we go. And that's the top. Now we'll go on to the rest of it here. Alright, so we got the top together. We got the float adjusted. Let's see, and we tested the needle with the air pressure. I got a separate video on that. At this point, you should probably, probably maybe before you put the plunger in, maybe test your accelerator pump system. Make sure it's not going to hesitate. And I'm going to do a video separately just for that because it's kind of involved, and once I put fluid in here it gets messy, so I'm not going to show it here and keep from getting this video done. So let's put the throttle body on here, get the gasket on. Okay. check weight fell out. I gotta remember to get that back in there. Okay. Okay. Now let's see. Certain screws on here. It's not lined up. I'm doing mine here. Okay. Trying to get the round peg into a square hole here. That's what it is, you gotta line up those pegs. Okay, I think that's probably it. I got one of them started anyway. The heads are just a little bit smaller on this. And these screws down here, they look a lot like the float ball screws, but if you look, the head's slightly smaller. You have to fit in this recessed hole. Okay. Let's see. I think I lost. Oh, there it is. If you think you're going to take these things apart more than once, spray the gaskets with silicone sealer, silicone spray lubricant, I should say. Get that out of here. It doesn't belong to this carburetor. Okay, don't forget the check weight. It goes right in here, the main discharge hole. So now we're set. We put the top on. We got to line the accelerator pump with the well, with the hole, and also these two. These are the idle air nozzles, and they go in the holes there. So gotta get those lined up. There we go. You got it in the wrong hole. There we go. Okay. And then watch your float pin. Alright, so there you go. Now, the one you got to watch for on the screws is this one longer one goes right there. That one's different from all the rest. Otherwise, they're all the same. And there's a bunch of them. Okay. So there is a sequence from tightening these up so they don't get warped. First I get them snug down a little bit. And you start from the middle and you work your way out and just kind of spread out as you tighten them. I'm going to take this apart again, so I'm just going to snug them up and let it go at that. I want to do a video on the on testing the accelerator pump and how the accelerator pump works, and also I'll do one on the power part of it, power using the power jet. How that works. Helps to know how this stuff works, so when you have a problem, you kind of you know how it's supposed to work. I went and checked my pictures that I took before I took this apart to make sure they get the linkages on right, because I don't care how many of these I put together, I always have trouble with getting the linkage back on, probably because all the twists and turns. Okay, so put this one on just like this. This is going to be your fast idle. Hook it like that and put it in the slot, in the fast idle cam. It goes up here and you gotta line it up like so. And then you can test it by closing your choke. Make sure it pulls it up, which it does. Okay. And we'll put our lock washer on here and our little nut. Okay. And that gets a fast idle cam. Now, this is your accelerator pump arm, and take this off, we will here in a second. So wind this through the hole like that, like so, just like that. Okay, that's how that goes, and it goes in this second slot. All right, I'm going to take it off. Put it in the slot like that and line it up. There's a little shoulder on there that you have to get it on. And you have to open up the throttle a little bit for it to line up and get the nut on here for so it doesn't fall off to start with, and then I'll get it lined up. Okay, I guess I'm not. There. Okay. Okay. And then we just run the throttle and make sure that's going to work. Lo and behold, it does. Okay. So, almost forgot the idle mixture screws. We're going to screw these in. First of all, we got to get the right hole. Screw these in until they bottom gently. If you tighten them down too much, you're going to ruin the screw. Okay. Turn them out about a turn and a half to get started. You'll have to adjust it after you get the car running. Your final adjustment anyway. About a turn and a half or so. There's no set turns on these. You just need enough to get it started. So I bottom it out gently. Turn it back out a turn and a half. And we're done. Stick our thing here on our pull off. And we got a rebuilt carburetor. Alright? I hope that helped you. Thank you for watching.